I found out my fiancé proposed with his ex-wife's ring. When she confronted me at our rehearsal, I finally realized just how bad he really was. Every head turned as the church doors swung open, and in the doorway stood a woman with the same piercing blue eyes as the diamond on my finger. The second I saw her, I knew exactly who she was. "Excuse me," she said, her voice cutting through the organ music. "I need to speak with the bride." Everyone in the wedding party turned to stare. My fiancé Derek went completely white, like someone had drained all the blood from his face. The woman walked down the aisle in jeans and a wrinkled t-shirt. She looked exhausted, like she'd been driving for hours to get here. "I'm sorry to interrupt, but that's my engagement ring," she said, pointing at my left hand. He never gave it back. The church went silent except for the sound of my heartbeat pounding in my ears. Derek's best man cleared his throat awkwardly. "I think there's been some mistake," I said, but my voice sounded hollow even to me. The ring suddenly felt heavy on my finger. The woman reached into her purse and pulled out her phone. "I have photos of me wearing that exact ring. Same inscription inside the band." She showed me the screen. There she was in a white dress, holding up her left hand to the camera. The ring was identical down to the tiny chip in the diamond I'd thought made mine uniquely special. Derek finally found his voice. "Jessica, what are you doing here?" So this was Jessica, the ex-wife he claimed had been completely unreasonable during their divorce proceedings 2 years ago. "Getting my grandmother's ring back," she said, her voice steady but trembling slightly. "The one you promised to return 2 years ago. The inscription." I'd never bothered to look inside the band, but now I twisted the ring around my finger until I could see the tiny engraved words. J&D forever. Not my initial, hers. My legs felt shaky. I sat down hard in the nearest pew, staring at the ring like it might suddenly transform into something else. "Derek, is this true?" My voice came out as barely a whisper. He ran his hands through his hair, messing up the perfect style his groomsmen had spent an hour perfecting with pomade and hairspray. "I can explain," he said, but his voice cracked on the words. "When we got divorced, you said you'd lost it," Jessica continued, her hands shaking as she held her phone. "But my cousin saw your engagement announcement on Facebook 3 months ago. She recognized the ring immediately and called me." I looked around the church at the faces of our wedding party. My bridesmaids stood frozen by the altar, their carefully arranged bouquets hanging limply at their sides. My maid of honor, Sarah, stepped forward. "Maybe we should take this somewhere private." "No," I said, surprising myself with how firm my voice sounded despite the tremor in my hands. "I want to hear this right here, right now." Derek's mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. "Lily, please, let me explain everything later. After we what? Get married?" My voice was getting louder, echoing off the stone walls. "Explain what? That you proposed to me with another woman's ring?"